What up? It's Chris, Liege Games. Let's do this. So, what's coming up next week as we break into March? Well, if you tune in tomorrow, I will have the biggest of the big of all of March of everything you should know. But if you're interested in just the first week of March, well, that's what this is. Because again, there is no shortage of stuff launching at the beginning of March and the end of March. This is going to be packed. Like, these last couple weeks, I know I've been talking about it, hyping it each week. Like, it's been solid. Like, not a matter of if there's like 7 or 8s, it's just how many 7 or 8, score games are there essentially. So it's the same this week. Patreon, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Working on the subscriber count. You know what? Now that we're like basically on the verge of 5,000 at the time of me filming this, maybe I should just do a reward for 5,000 or maybe, see how fast we can get to 6,000 or 7,500. I don't know. 10,000, it's a great goal, but can I get there? And is that too long to wait? Is that too long to motivate people? What do you think? Should I do something in between? Yeah, I don't know. Let's do this. Either way, we're just going to go right into it. That's all I got for preamble today. First up, why am I showing you a picture of Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition? Wow, Stronghold Games has on the sly sort of let some news leak out that there's going to be an expansion coming forward in the first week of March. Now, does that mean sometime at the end of this next week? Or, in the first technical week of the first 7 days? Who knows? There's no date announced yet as far as I'm aware at the time of this filming. But the only way we know that is for sure is that Rado actually posted his video into the forum section of Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition in the first place. So you can see everything that's going to be there. It's called Discovery Foundation Crisis, and it's not even in the Board Game Geek database, so that's why we're really talking about it. And it clearly has people talking because this thing is already 3 pages long with 56 posts following it, telling of what they want, what they don't want, what they, are expecting, all the criticisms and all the critiques even in this section of things. So if you were a fan of the first time around, well, it's going to be interesting because how is Stronghold Games going to take it? Because are you going to see this game show up, a couple weeks or a couple months in Target again before people get it? Now, again, the Kickstarter version is still a hot commodity because of those extra promo cards. So invariably, I expect Stronghold Games to do something very similar to that aspect. Again, it's just going to be a price point. And what does a price point go for an expansion for a game that was already not more than $30 or $40 in the first place? Is it going to be the same size? Is it going to be 15, 20 bucks? I have no idea. But I know people that love this game, and I know people really like this. Now, you can debate whether or not this is better than the original. I have never played either. Spoilers. I'm sorry, I haven't. Never had the opportunity, never thought it out, or want to find it out in the first place. So eventually I will play it, but either way, it hasn't been a huge attraction to me, but I know it's going to be a big hit with you guys, so that's why we're talking about it first. Now, what also is launching sometime in this first week? Well, we have Earth Under Siege Flashpoint, which is another big dungeon crawl-esque tactical miniature-based game. Now, you may be going, okay, well, Chris, why am I even looking at this? Why am I even interested in this? Well, because, again, the question I always ask is, what makes this different? Why should I get this one over other ones? What is going to make this stand out in my collection? And this is more sci-fi dungeon crawl-esque scenario-driven, but it's also more V Commando's Assassin's Creed rather than, me Hulk smash, go, go, go sort of game. So if that intrigues you already, you should be definitely checking this one out. 30 mission campaign based scenario driven system, and you can see a little bit of here of what you're going to be getting with the asymmetric abilities of each of your characters. You can see the upgradable slots that are going to be around the characters as well, and then you can see the unique deck of tactics cards that each character has that appears to be using the sort of almost Gloomhaven-esque system where you've got things on the top and the bottom that you can maybe choose from. Again, I mean, it's going to be a dice checker, though, because you can see the abilities and the stats over here are indicating how many dice you're going to be doing. And focus is, I'm going to be assuming something along the lines of re-rolling or enhancing abilities. Now, not only are you going to have that deck of tactics cards that I just mentioned and showed you, but that's going to be upgradable, customizable, and buildable as you go along. So that's also launching on the 1st. Another one, a completely different down the way side of things on the 1st as well, is Solar 175. Now, this is a campaign game as well, but this is a heavy Euro campaign game. Do I have your interest piqued? Are you interested anymore by hearing those words together? Well, maybe you should be, because, I mean, it's definitely on the heavier side of things. Now, I actually had a chance to look at this, and they reached out to me and we communicated, but spoilers, it was too heavy for me. I read the rule book and I said, thank you for even being considering of me in the first place and talking to me, but this would probably not fit well with me. I'm interested to watch it, though, from a how much is this going to generate speculation-wise from an outsider looking in, because if something like this does well, are you going to see more of it? Now you can see here Euro-style gameplay, immersive thematic narratives, 1 to 5 players, solo mode, building giant megastructures, navigating systems, political decisions, and there's a lot going on this. This is a blown up picture of the components. This is why, folks, it was probably a little bit too heavy for me. Look at all of this stuff going on. Look at the player boards down here, the upgradables, the interactions, all of these things going on. And so if this really interests you as a sort of a heavier campaign style game with more Euro mechanisms, I think you should definitely give this one a shout out. And it's going to be launching on the 1st with these others, so it's going to be going up against some competition as well. Now, the next one is also very interesting. I think people have been kind of waiting for this. Now, why am I talking about a game that's already out in Western Legends from Colossal Games? Well, that's because they're actually doing a big box. A big box with a wooden storage solution and promo cards. So, akin to, I guess you can compare it to the previously mentioned original Terraforming Mars, when Terraforming Mars did their big box and their storage solution with a little extra promo. And that's what it is. All upgraded components, hardcover rulebook, because you need a hardcover rulebook, clearly. It goes right along with the metal coins. And it stores all the game boards and never before seen character cards and a legendary item. Are legendary items good? I don't know. I've never played this game. I've never had the inkling to play Western Legends as an open sandbox poker style-esque game for 2 to 6 players. Now, it's one of 3 actions that you're taking on your turn. You're moving around from location to location, taking a specific action at said location, or fighting another player that is at said location in the first place. At the end of the game, whoever has the most legendary action points wins via doing all of those actions. So, how do you choose to play? In what direction do you want to go? And a little bit of everything. And there are tons of other expansions for this. If you look at the Board Game Geek page here, we'll go over here to the expansion section. There are a bunch already out. Blood Money, Ante-Up, a couple promos here, wild bunch of extras, fistful of extras, and the good, the bad, and the handsome. So this is a sort of akin, again, to Terraforming Mars, where there are already like 4 expansions out. So again, how do you feel about that? Do you want to spend more money on that game if it's one of your best games? Absolutely. If it's not, is this really going to intrigue you? And are they going to offer sort of like Everdell did previously, where, you know, it's actually a better price to get in late and get everything all at once than to piecemeal it? And so we'll kind of see. So that's also launching on the 1st. Now, next up, this one actually has me very intrigued because it combines 2 things that I really love, and so I'm really going to be interested to see what this one actually entails and a little bit of actual gameplay. This is a 1 to 5 player game called Illiterati. Now, a little combination there of a little wordplay. Haha, boom, dad pun, already in there, didn't even try to do it, because what you're doing in this game is you are trying to literally build words. And all of these words are going to be animals, they say. But here is the tricky part. This is a cooperative, okay? That's already different than a lot of other word games out there. It is also a real-time action game where you're trying to do that by trading letters and building words and trying to go through a book to build all of the letters in the book in order to win. But if you don't, you're going to burn cards or letters. As you go across, you're going to be burning or building through various books. But at the end of every round, 3-minute rounds that is, you are going to be having to draw a villain card. And there are 5 copies of 5 different villains, they say. And if you draw a villain that has already been drawn, you not only activate that power that has just been drawn of whatever it's going to do to your letters or words that you're going to have to deal with back on the cooperative side of things, but you're also going to activate all of the previous powers of that same enemy that have been drawn already. Now, I self-admittedly am not a big word game fan, but now you make it real time and cooperative. I'm interested. I'm going to be watching this one very closely. I have it saved over in the Kickstarter link, so if you're interested, I'll throw that below as well. That's also launching on the 1st. Again, launching on the 1st, we have a game called Gigawatt, and this is a very interesting, it involves dice, but it is not necessarily as dice driven. What you're trying to do is you are trying to get rid of the unsustainable fuels to produce enough gigawatts with the sustainable fuel sources in this game and have all of your non-sustainable ones closed and exceeding the amount of power that you need to produce in the first place. And it is going to go up every single round to make it harder. So you're going to be playing catch up by the amount that is rolled on the dice in the first place in the beginning of the round. Now, they say that there are 5 different rounds that you're going to be going through in order to complete the process of this game. And there is no number of rounds that you're going to play, because like I said, you just have to exceed those win conditions within these phases of a round. They go through one of the reviews that's on Board Game Geek here, the 5 different phases: buying technology cards, building whatever you're going to build in terms of storage facilities, power plants, etc., using the dice and the income then that you have on the tracks, trade and penalize people, and then closing the auction by bidding on power plants. So it's a little bit different. It's not dice driven, although it does use dice in a little bit. And again, more of the Euro style-ish in a little bit different way. I mean, it's certainly beautiful to look at. So, I mean, it's probably not going to be for me, but it's going to intrigue me at least a little bit to look at when I wasn't expecting to look at it. So that is also launching on the 1st. In addition, on the 1st, we have Labyrinth. Essentially, in this game, you're going to be traversing the 25 spaces here on the board and drawing cards that are going to have certain effects, including spawning enemies, and you're going to have to use the cards in your hand down here in order to defeat them in the first place. So the interesting thing is you can rotate and flip the spaces themselves in order to maximize or minimize how you want to proceed throughout the labyrinth in the first place. Has a little bit of the pandemic feel, they say, because in each turn you have 3 different actions in which you can do several different things, including affecting the board, of helping or assisting other players, as well as even affecting the terrors, are the enemies on the board, and you can pass an action along to someone else on their turn and not use one during your own. So, interesting concept. We'll see what it looks like on the 1st. Now we have a very interesting take on the 1st also launching, and this is the Flood, building essentially the Ark, only you are taking more of a Euro mechanism style game. You are going to be using a hex-based system that marks the edges of the board, essentially, from what they say, and there are going to be tools on there, and you're going to have to roll the right combination of resources or numbers in order to get those said resources. Those are also going to serve as a weather indicator coming for the Flood in the first place, in more of a Euro style strategic trading also with other people style of game. Launching on the 1st, check it out. Then we have the Lost Code. Now this one actually is launching on the 2nd. Now, this one is actually a relaunch, and what you're doing here is it's a remake of Think Straight, and you are trying to deduce in this 2 to 4 player social deduction strategy game, numbers, or in this case, values or symbols are based on the hidden information and also the known information. Now, the twist on it is that you're trying to figure out your own, not other people's, because you can see everyone else's, and you're having to guess what yours are based on that. Now, there's some sort of betting action mechanism that you're going to be doing, trying to score the most points by betting on your numbers at the right time. So, again, we'll see as a relaunch how it does when it launches in the 2nd. Next up, on the 1st, we have Dungeoneers. Now, this is more almost of a dungeon crawl wrapped in an RPG-esque combination here, as you are managing a League of Dungeoneers, is what it's under in Board Game Geek as well. And you're traversing this dungeon crawl type atmosphere, but it's also heavily party management in the RPG aspect. This is going full on character creation, stats, traversing, a lot going on here, all in a nutshell. Procedurally generated with themes, so there's not going to be, as they say in the description, a goblin showing up in a theme of undead, but you're going to be having some sort of narrative to go along with that in this random assortment of dungeon that is going to be presented to you in a unique, different way each time. Combat, threat levels of dungeons, character, stat management, a little bit of everything. Now, it's described as the complexity being medium based on the Board Game Geek description, in a lot of overhead, but the actual gameplay itself is more intuitive. Self-described as a higher level of detail, but more than other dungeon crawls that you're going to get on a more superficial level if that's what you're looking for. Launching on the 1st, check it out. Now, again, on the 1st, Fire for Light. Now, this is a cooperative game. Now, this is a game that sort of has me a little bit intrigued because I don't know what to expect with this from Greenbrier Games and Will Sobel. It is a campaign scenario-based game that is going to be malleable to your play as you go along. 15 chapters that you're going to be traversing as you control a new set of explorers throughout the unique awareness action phase system that they've got, where you progress from sort of daylight to darkness, and that's going to apparently affect your actions as you go along as well. Now you can get a sample illustration of sort of what it's going to look like in terms of setup. and a little bit of what your characters are going to have as their actions in the first place on that hex-based grid system. Make your choices, explore, adventure, find out the secret of the winter, and see what it all entails when it launches on the 1st. Gonna have my eye on this one too. Now, Euthia, just released in the past year. This was a massive, like if Mage Knight had a more detailed, expansive baby, this is what the original Euthia Torment of Resurrection entailed, or was compared to originally. And this is going to be another expansion for it called Fierce Powers. It is just going to give you more. So if you were a big fan of the original, then you can check this out and get a new character, new abilities for the original core characters, more modularity, more systems, more mechanics. And I guess that's the question on a game like this that was already so detailed and so complex in the first place. Is more a good thing? I don't know. I haven't heard too much about this in the background. It's one of those games where I feel like the people that are going to be attracted to it are going to really like it, but it's not necessarily as inviting to those that aren't as something lighter, like Mage Knight may be. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. And again, what is the price point going to look like for something like this? It's launching on the 1st. The first one did well the first time around, so we'll see what it does the second time around. Then we have Rise of Tokagawa, which is an expansion for the Small Samurai Empires game. If you're not familiar with Small Samurai Empires, it's an area control game with action programming. It's a very intriguing aspect because I don't really see those two mechanisms go together that often. Now, as a personal, not always the biggest fan of area control, action programming and this aesthetic definitely reminds me of one of my few action area control games that I like in the form of Rumble Nation. I don't know much about this game, but I'm interested, and if you are too with this new expansion as a 1 to 5 player game, if you're interested at all, maybe check it out when it launches with the new expansion on the 1st. Then we have Worldbreakers, Advent of the Khanate. Khanate, we'll go with that. Khanate, sounds better. This is also launching, of course, on the 1st. This is a 1 to 2 player action dueling game. Now, it says customizable card game, if you will, where you have a unique world breaker, essentially your hero almost, that has an ability, a world breaking ability, and you have 30 card deck that you are going to be going up head to head against someone else, and you have one of 3 types of cards that are going to be usable. They're going to have different actions, impacts, or even the amount of uses themselves in the first place. And you're trying to gain power by conquering or winning locations while using the resource Mytherium to power your actions in the first place. Again, very saturated market with these 1 to 2 player games, especially from a dueling customizable aspect. So it'll be interesting to see what this one offers in terms of differences already in the first place. The theme is a little bit different. So again, going to the Mongolian Khan, hence the name, theme, we're going to see what this entails and how different it is, and hopefully get a little bit of hands-on gameplay so we can see what it looks like firsthand. Oh, and going back to Small Empires here for a second, this one launches on the 3rd, and I messed up, of course, because Euthia launches on the 4th. But gotta include them all, so let's do it. So let's go to the over-unders from last week before we do the new ones for this week. So a little bit of a mixed bag here. Unsettled, I said over $1 million, and I thought it was going to be there. I'm filming this obviously the night before, so they're going to fall just short. I said the over, so I'm going to be just off on that one, but that was a good prop bet at least. It was close. The next one I said Tang Gardens versus 51st Ultimate State, and I believe I actually said 51st Ultimate State here, and Tang Gardens has a lot more than I expected. So yes, it wins 344 to 266, so I'm 0 for 2. Number 3, block by block. I said over 105,000. Yes, 105,000. It's at 107. Look at that. Liege is doing okay this week, and 1 for 3, and we're about to be 1 for 4 because I said lobotomy was over or under 400,000, and it's only at about 200,000 right now. So there we go. We 1 for 4 this week. Bleh, good job, Liege. Liege Stradamus misses again. So what should we do with this upcoming week then? Let's do number 1. Deep Rock Galactic will be ending by the time this airs next week. Does Deep Rock Galactic break $3 million for number 1? Number 2, Kingdoms Forlorn. Does it break more than, let's say, 950,000? We'll say that. And Deep Rock, I'm going to go the over. Kingdoms Forlorn, I'm going to go the under on this one. I think this one has 10 days to go, so I don't think the push is going to be quite there. Does Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition expansion launch before the video next week? Yes or no? Because I would dare say that if it launches, it's going to be the highest funding of the week in the first place. So put that out there. Number 4, we'll put at, again, I like doing the 6-figure digit games. Are there going to be 3.5 games over or under breaking 6 digits launch this week? You know what? I'm going to go over. I'm going to shock people. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to say there are 4 games at least that break 6 figures that are launching new this week. There you go. Over-unders, roundup, TV-wise, what am I doing on the TV side of things? I finished The Promise, and what was I just watching? I was watching The Magpie Murders from, what is it, Acorn, I think? Acorn TV. Let's see, what else? Not really a whole lot else. I didn't really get into much this week. It was just a busy week for doing other things. I started watching the 5th season of Rick and Morty because I didn't even realize there was a 5th season. I completely forgot about it. So, Mr. Nimbus! Anyway, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And that's okay. Let's see. That's all I got. So let me know what you think about the giveaway. Should I time it at a different? I'm have to reach out to a couple publishers over this weekend to see if people would be interested at all. And that's about it. That's all I have at the end of this. I got really nothing else going on. I'm working all weekend, so maybe film here or there in between. And like I said, tomorrow's video is going to be the biggest names, I think, or the most hyped of March in the first place. And we'll just kind of see what else comes out after that. I've got a couple reviews that are just sitting waiting in the wings that I just need to finish up, including Valiant Wars from Strange Machine Games, as well as Battle for Eternia from Stone Circle, and a little bit of everything else. I don't really think I have other big reviews. I don't have a whole lot coming out probably crowdfunding wise in March yet that I know of. I think maybe 2 or 3 from the channel. I'm not sure I have a whole lot right now, at least. So we'll see where it goes. That's all I got. I got to get something played this weekend. I didn't play anything like all week, and so February is kind of a down month in terms of getting new stuff played, unfortunately. I mean, down significantly from a January, which everything was going to be, but still. Oh, there will be at least one video. I'm looking at a game behind the camera right now. There will be at least one discussion of a game coming out this week. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Super good. Super excited. Okay, Eggnight, you got anything? Nope. Too bad. Okay. Too late. We ran over time, Eggnight. Can't let you do your soliloquy at the end here. Okay. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Hopefully you're not working. Stay classy. See you around. What up? Chris, Liege from Games. Let's do this.